today. It is a tale of sorrow that I wish to share with you all from my nascent days with Reiki. And one of those times that I did commit a most grievous crime upon this little fellow here. And this is a tale of warning to you all, as I wish to regale you with that aforesaid memory. And I will be using a bit of my raconteuring, because some of you may know I do enjoy the creative writing, and I've written a book. Check it out in the description if you wish to know more about that. That's certainly nothing to do with Reiki, though. That's paranormal horror, so you have been warned. But there's no horror on that level. But nevertheless, it is a disturbing tale that I'm going to bring you. Yeah, so greetings, everyone. And let me tell you about this little fellow here. It's a lovely tablet. It's very good. It was in its day. And I used it really for, like any other tablets. I'm trying to think, it was some years ago now. What did we use tablets for back a few years? Oh, I suppose it was to look on Facebook, send messages, an occasional YouTube video. I'm not really sure this had the capacity to do that, if I'm honest with you. But it's a jolly little thing and rather useful. And it was through that said medium of Facebook that set the scene for this despicable horror that unfolded. So, as you all know, when you are attuned to Reiki, we soon discover that, especially when you got to level 2, that we have the capacity to send energy over distance. And we did this very well. And I was rather astonished when I would send this energy beetling across Kent to my friend of mine, a few friends of mine, who would say, "My dear old boy, Gary, this is rather splendid. I've actually felt energy around me just now, and it was permeating through the sky, through the stratosphere, into my body as I sat down and reclined, and it was rather special, actually. It was rather splendid." And for a period of time, I had this little zombie fellow, and you're thinking, zombies, Gary? This is supposed to be Reiki, not horror. And yes, indeed. And just to prove that I'm well versed with zombies, forsooth, a book on zombies, no less. I still haven't read it, actually. But I digress. But you know those little grabbing machines that you get in the arcade, and I can't recall exactly where. It was probably in the hallowed places of somewhere like Dymchurch or the um, rugged coastline of Hastings, where I came across said machine, and from the depths I plucked one of these little mannequin figures, and it was so I know the word zombie was on there, and he looked like a little fellow that I would use. And one of the things they say to you when you do distant healing, initially, what I was taught, is to have like a proxy. Now, some of you would say you could use a knee, for example. Some people like to use me, but I always felt a bit unusual just in imagining this body on my knee, for want of a better word. Or, for me, it was my little friendly zombie doll. And so, the zombie doll I used to good effect as to send in the energy. Don't worry, guys, wasn't turning anyone into zombies. It was just a proxy. It was just like a manifestation. And needless to say, these days I don't do that. But this is my early days, remember. I very much had my L plates on. And it was good. But then also remember someone saying, it's nice to have a facsimile of that person that you're going to transmit that energy to. And I thought, ideas began to form. And this said noggin of mine of taking hold of this, opening up, load up my Facebook. It's dead now, don't worry. And get their image on screen. I thought, brilliant. So I'd set the scene. Imagine, if you will. I suppose it would have been about 9 o'clock in the evening. A couple of candles were lit. Incense was permeating the air with a fragrant sense of lavender. To be honest, I can't quite recall what scent it is, but lavender's got that nice feel, hasn't it? Lavender's wafting across the screen, bringing out this murky and mystical aura around said scenario. And so I gazed upon the Facebook page, looked to the recipient of this healing energy, and then I done the most ridiculous thing. Fills me with absolute abject horror as I look back. This, I sent the energy into the machine. Now, remember, the energies of Reiki can be quite powerful. And lo and behold, as I was closed my eyes, got into the space, sent the energy. And I was so into it, I had my eyes completely in that kind of like, focused like meditative state, as I like to call it. And my eyes were firmly closed. And I sent that healing. We always say distant healing would be about 15 to 20 minutes, and said time frame elapsed as the seconds whispered into minutes, and a quarter of an hour had elapsed. At that point, my eyes gazed open, and I looked with a querulous look upon my little device. And what greeted me is what you see here, a dead screen. And I thought, oh, that's weird. I thought normally it's like, stays on. I then elicited a frantic burst upon this little button at the top, the little silver button, pressed it frantically, trying to summon life. But alas, my Acer tablet turned into a zombie tablet. There was no life. It was devoid of anything. And that taught me a most valuable lesson for anybody who is sending distant healing over their electrical devices. Reiki is an energy. It's a powerful energy. So just consider if you're sending energy into an electrical device, there is every possibility that it may have a deleterious effect upon said apparatus. And so I murdered a tablet. I know it's a heinous crime. It was done innocently. It's more, I suppose it would be tablet slaughter. I can't say manslaughter, but it was electricide that I committed. I've literally frazzled this poor little machine. It taught me a valuable lesson. So my advice to all of you who may one day think to yourself, I have this person on my computer. You notice when I send Reiki, I don't actually send it to the phone. I don't send it to the PC. It's kind of going up there. My intention is almost off to the side because I know I'm not saying it would, but if I was to send that energy into the screen, I'm playing with fire. And this can certainly have a bad effect upon your machinery. So I do advise refrain from sending said energy into those far flung places across the world through your device. It's rather akin to we have malware. This is kind of I'm trying to think of a suitable sobriquet for this. Rakeware? That's pretty rubbish, isn't it? I'll tell you what, I'll hand it over to you. What would you call this? This was a software that came in through Reiki, infected your machine. What would you call it? Because I've got a little bit of writer's block here, so I'm going to pass it over to the audience. Give me some suggestions, people. I'm asking you for a little bit of help here. Have a little bit of fun. Get creative in the comments. I love a little bit of creativity. It's got to be done. And that's what I've done. I committed this crime. My sentence was going out and buying a new one. The most event that left me rather impecunious for a little while. But nevertheless, the lesson was learned. And there is another tale where I did send some energy to someone who won a competition once, and this was angelic Reiki. But nevertheless, let's just call it healing energy was sent across the boundaries, and this lady was in a car, resting. At least she wasn't driving. Just please bear that in mind. She was actually parked up before you start thinking, oh my God, he said it's a this healing energy while she was driving. No, she was reclining, relaxing, and then I did hear this oral emanation coming back across my phone, this beep, 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 and I don't know what that was. When it had finished, and he said, this is another tale, of course. She remarked to me, said, Gary, I do have to tell you that if you notice that my set nav's come on. I thought, oh, that obviously the energy's interfered. See, this is what happens. This is what happens when you start transmitting energy. It can interfere with electrical devices. And she said, yeah, but the thing is, Gary, it's not plugged in. So not only had the sat nav come on, but it wasn't even attached to a power source. And it's almost like UFO, was it Encounters of was it Third Kind or whatever it was called, that old 80s film? You know, remember where the car started, all the electrical devices failed? It was almost akin to that, only I turned them on. And it was quite amusing, but also quite astonishing at the same time. But is it really? If you send a pulse of energy into something, there's going to be an effect, isn't it? Unless I have not found a commercial use for this yet. I have not managed quite at this time to tell the electricity supplier, I don't need you. I can turn the telly on myself. I haven't worked that bit out yet. Maybe you have. And I know a few people who do energy work that they are around electrical devices that does go haywire. And again, tell me in the comments if you've had them to yourself, because obviously this really is aimed at the Reiki tribe. Have you ever gone round and inadvertently switched on the microwave, uh, switched off your kettle, turned it on? Maybe you've put your hands around the kettle and summoned boiling water. Who knows? But that is my little request to you today. Let me know what kind of things have happened to you, and a whimsical tale that I'm really quite happy to share with you. And don't worry, we'll get back onto some more what we can do with Reiki ourselves. I'm going to bring to give you an idea of what's coming up. We're going to work on how to bring in our healing guides. That's something that's definitely on the horizon. People in the post have asked for a video on energy cleansing, so that's also in the post. So these are a couple of things coming up, and I may well throw in a little reading and a something else. I'll tell you what, give me some ideas, guys. Throw those ideas in the comments, and we'll see what we can do. Because over the end of the day, even though I am narrating a tale of today, it's very much your channel. I'm delivering the message, but I listen. I try to do my best to listen to what you, ladies and gentlemen, would like, and I will do my best to oblige. Anyway, I've waffled on quite enough, I think, about strange tales. So put this one in the Gaz files, and if it's brought a smile or two to your face, just let me know in the comments and consider a like and subscribe. Yeah, I always do that. I try to do that at the end of the videos, not the start. And I don't always ask for likes and subscribes because I know how irritating that can be, which is why I leave it right till the last minute. Anyway, have a beautiful day, and I hope I've raised a smile or two. And just to say to you all, thank you so much, and much love to you all. Catch you at the next video. Thank you for now. Bye bye.